Hello everyone, and thank you for joining me on Politics on Sunday. I am Femi Akonde. President Bola Tinubu has embarked on an official visit to Brazil, a trip that is sparking questions. Why Brazil and why now? Well, the visit comes as Nigeria looks to strengthen its global partnership beyond the traditional powers of Europe and North America. Brazil is Latin America's largest economy and a member of BRICS. It shares deep historical, cultural, and trade ties with Africa. Analysts say the president's trip is aimed at deepening economic cooperation in sectors such as agriculture, energy, technology, and many others. Brazil's success in agribusiness and renewable energy is seen as a model Nigeria can learn from as it works to diversify its economy. Well, to help broaden this conversation, I'm being joined via Zoom by the governor of Kaduna State, Senator Uba Sani, and also joining me from Brazil is a special advisor to President Bola Tinubu on media and communications, Sunday Dari. Hello, Your Excellency. It's good to see you, and hello, Mr. Sunday Dari.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure.
All right, then.
Good afternoon, Femi.
Yeah, good afternoon. It's 7 p.m. here in Nigeria. But let me start with you, Special Advisor to the President on Media and Public Communications. You know, President Bola Tinubu has been criticized for his frequent foreign trips, which, you know, a lot of people say, which is funded by taxpayers' money. But despite this, the administration insists that these foreign trips are in the interest of Nigeria. This time, the president is off to Brazil. Why Brazil? And what value really would this add to Nigeria's economy as the president seeks to grow the economy?
Yeah, Femi, thank you. Yes, Brazil. Of course, this is the third visit of Mr. President to Brazil, and it's with a justifiable cause, just like you said in your introduction. It might interest you that the first time the Nigerian government tried to start an economic integration with Brazil was 21 years ago. President Obasanjo was here, and thereafter in 2019. So we've had these efforts in fit and start. Under President Bola Tinubu, we've seen a renewed vigor brought to bear. And when you look at the statistics, the comparison between Brazil and Nigeria, they're so compelling. And you start to wonder, why did it take us so long to come here? Again, the 2 times he has been here have been for justifiable reason. First, when he came in, he came for the Sustainable Conference. The second one, he came for G20 and then BRICS. And this third one is a state visit. That is, we're moving from diplomacy to cutting necessary economic and political deals that we need. Brazil has 212 million population. Nigeria has 225 million and counting population. Brazil has one of the best, most mechanized agriculture in the world today. Brazil has a herd of cattle of 238 million, even more than the population of humans. Under President Bola Tinubu, we've seen the introduction of the livestock industry, and we've seen the potential of our own livestock industry in Nigeria. So there are so many reasons for us to strengthen our economic ties with Brazil.
Okay, we'll speak about...
President Bola Tinubu recognizes that.
Indeed.
And that's why this state visit, on the invitation of President Lula da Silva, is not just timely, but is critical to open up the economic tab and relationship with Brazil. All
right, then we'll go into the details of this President Bola Tinubu's visit. But let me speak with the governor of Kaduna State, Senator Uba Sani. You are also on the president's delegation to Brazil. Kaduna people are also watching, you know, as Nigerians are asking why the president is in Brazil. For the people of Kaduna State, they also want to know what really are they getting out of this visit? What's important for you? What value will this add to your state, Kaduna?
Thank
you very much again for let
Yeah.
me first thank you for this opportunity. And again, of course, I heard what my friend and brother, Honorable Sunday Dare, have just said. And of course, it's for me to affirm what he have just said. For us in Nigeria, this visit to Brazil is very important, particularly for subnationals, governments. And of course, just like he said, this is the third visit in about less than 2 years. And of course, you will agree with me that we have a lot to benefit from this very important visit, where we're going to discuss a number of issues. Some of the issues we will discuss have to do with issue of agriculture, issue of renewable energy, issues around skill development, as well as aviation investment, industries, and many other areas. And of course, you will agree with me that Kaduna is one of the leading states in agricultural development in Nigeria. We have about 42% of our GDP that agriculture contribute. Not only that, about 60% of our workforce is in agriculture. And that is the reason why when I came in as the governor, I looked at the budget of agriculture and I decided to move it from 0.5% that I inherited to about 12% as we're speaking, to ensure that we meet the Malabo declaration of at least 10% by subnational and national governments. And of course, I'm happy that President Bola Tinubu has established a very important relationship with President Lula da Silva of Brazil. It's a relationship that has been established on the basis of mutual respect and looking at the opportunities by both countries. And of course, if you look at the level of opportunities that we will certainly be able to achieve in this very short visit, you will agree with me that when we are talking about agriculture, let's look at even livestock sector. For instance, Brazil export about 200,000 metric tons of beef. They are the leading exporter of beef globally. The next is Argentina with about 50,000 metric tons. And in Kaduna, we are investing heavily in livestock development, apart from the fact that we are also leading Kaduna. You're talking about maize production. They have been sorghum. We are leading in Nigeria. That is the reason why we became the first state in Nigeria to establish or to commission or to do the groundbreaking of a special agro-industrial processes that certainly will industrialize agriculture, transform agriculture, create jobs,
yes,
and address the problem of poverty and increase productivity in our own state. So I can say in essence, President Bola Tinubu,
I hear you, sir,
have been someone that has done a lot. And let me even clear this area. The reason why we're all here is simply because President Bola Tinubu has stabilized the economy in Nigeria. Because when you look at the time he came in, a lot of investors globally don't want to come to Nigeria to invest. Let me give you one example before I move on. The issue of even the $7 billion backlog that he was able to clear in the area of Forex, that has really increased the level of confidence by investors who can come to Nigeria, invest, and repatriate their profit. When he came in, there was a lot of problems. Some of the reforms he initiated have really opened opportunities, not for Nigerian businessmen alone, but also for people that want to invest in Nigeria from other countries across the world. And that is the reason why I have no doubt in my mind his visit to Brazil this time around. We will certainly have a lot of agreements in the area of aviation, investment, agriculture, renewable energy, and many other sectors.
Okay, Governor Sani, let's stay on agriculture now. And you know that in Kaduna State, even your critics agree that insecurity has significantly improved, making it safer for farmers to return to the farm. We have seen several documentaries, even done by TVC News, where we heard from the farmers talking about how yields have improved over time. But one problem is the lack of mechanization. It's quite slow, introducing technology and mechanization to help improve productivity. What's the challenge and why has this not been sped up?
Of course, I agree with you 100%. When we came in, that was a major challenge we faced. But in the last 2 years, we have been able to acquire and buy about 400 tractors, which, as I'm speaking with you, they have all been given to major farmers as well as smallholder farmers in partnership with private sector. And that has really enhanced agricultural development in Kaduna State. So we are also leading in mechanization in Nigeria because with 400 tractors already in place, and of course, we've also make sure that farming is all their activities in Kaduna State because we invested also heavily in other aspects of mechanization apart from tractors. We bought a lot of farms that has to support our people, particularly during the dry season farming. So we've done a lot in supporting our farmers, improve area of mechanization, and support smallholder farmers. You agree with me? Only about 2 weeks ago, we distributed over 400 trucks of fertilizer to smallholder farmers free. And for me, because I believe agriculture is the mainstay of our economy in Kaduna State, contributing to 60% of our workforce, that is the reason why we took it seriously. Moving from 1.4 billion budgetary allocation I met to about over 100 billion. That is the reason why I have noted in my mind this opportunity of coming with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to Brazil. We have a lot of areas that we can be able to leverage on, partner with some investors from Brazil that are willing and ready to come to Kaduna to invest.
Well, Governor Ubasani and Mr. Sunday Dare, just hold your thought for a second. We'll take a quick commercial break. We'll return to continue with this conversation. We are still discussing President Bola Tinubu's trip to Brazil. Why Brazil? The third time in less than a year. Well, Sunday Dare is special advisor to President Bola Tinubu on media and public communications. It's online from Brazil, including the Kaduna State Governor, Senator Ubasani. But let me come to you, special advisor. You know, there's an agreement now signed between Nigeria and Brazil. That is the Green Imperative Partnership, which is worth about 1.1 billion US dollars. Tell us more about this, because this agreement was first reached 6 years ago, but you know it was dormant for a while until President Bola Tinubu came and kick-started it again. Is there that political will this time around to ensure it's up and running and to the benefit of Nigerians?
Absolutely. President Tinubu is the president who came in with very and on the top brow of that agenda is the need to diversify Nigeria's economy. And he has been able to put pen to paper. He has been able to follow through, first with the setup of the livestock ministry, but beyond that, with the budgetary allocation to agriculture, to solid minerals, and other critical sectors. So in 2 years, we have seen Nigeria's economy diversified, even from data coming in from the global organizations. I think the fact that has brought vigor to bear on the GIP. The GIP has massive potentials for our country. The first time was in 2019, but even this year, we've seen the Brazil delegation come to Abuja. The GIP, of course, is 1 billion. The GIP has the potential to create at least 100,000 direct jobs and 5 million indirect jobs. And that's critical. Beyond that is a massive agri mechanization effort with a potential of 10,000 tractors and 50,000 farm implements. Don't forget, Brazil is the largest agricultural powerhouse in Latin America. Like I said earlier, the cattle herd in Brazil, 238 million, is more than the human population in Brazil of 2012. So their meat industry, their meat packing industry, their livestock is so well developed. And we've seen the enormous potential. We have about 21 million cattle heads in Nigeria, but throughout the value chain, enormous potential. So if we're plugged in and there's a partnership with Brazil, we know that our livestock in the sector will grow with the potential of job creation, the development of the value chain. Brazil has that experience, is willing to partner on the GIP. And you said much earlier, quite enough about the areas. Look at the BASA that will be signed tomorrow when President Bola Tinubu comes into town later today. It will be signed tomorrow. That will make direct flights. When we travel there, we travel 21 hours. If that direct flight works, that's about 7.5 hours to 8 hours. And as I speak, the 777 aircraft belonging to Air Peace is already seated at the airport, is on the ground here in Brasilia to give effect. You know the enormous potential of that direct flight is going to not just the visits, it will increase, investors will come both ways, tourists will come both ways, cultural exchanges. So we're at the point in our history that we have a president who understands the dynamics of global economic power. And as AGOA comes to an end this September, when we go to United Nations, AGOA is going to come to an end. What happens? You don't wait until that time before you start seeking for other global partners. And I think President Bola Tinubu has started early enough, looking to South-South cooperation, looking to Brazil, that will have so many things in common. And I think he's on the right track.
Yes, indeed. And the trade volume between Nigeria and Brazil is about $2 billion. And, it's kind of an even level of trade between both countries. But Governor Ubasani, now, let me come to you. You talked about livestock, how Nigeria seeks to, benefit from Brazil's experience, expertise in the livestock area. But there's a whole lot that still needs to be done in Nigeria. For instance, there's that cultural paradigm shift that is needed, because in Nigeria now, most of the herders are nomads moving from one place to the other. That is yet to change. How do we fix this culture now before bringing the technology and building the whole value chain?
Thank you very much. This is a very interesting question, because I agree with you 100% that we need to move from what we do normally or now to what happens globally. And that is why we're here in Brazil, like my colleague have just said, my friend, to look at some of the areas and try to partner with them and collaborate with them. In Kaduna, we have this kind of partnership already with Allah, not only in the area of trying to see how we can be able to partner with them in dairy, but we're looking at areas where we can also advance the issue of ranch. For me, it's very critical, but coming to Brazil, we realize that we have more in common with Brazil, and that is the reason why we're looking at their own areas of expertise, working with our people, partnering with them, so that we can be able to also initiate the issue of ranching, making sure that we don't have to continue what we do. Because of course, you will agree with me. When I came as a governor, I look at the issue of many problems of farmer herders because of the movement of our cows and all those things, which for me also affects a lot of things, including insecurity and many other factors. But we are looking at that. But like I said, we have to continue to thank President Bola Tinubu for this very important initiative, in ensuring that we can be trusted globally. And that is why we're here, ensuring that both presidents, like I said, have confidence and believe, and also look at the potential of both countries. So sitting here waiting for Mr. President this evening, like my friend have just said, we are looking at areas, including livestock. We are subnational. We are also here to key into most of these bilateral discussions. And of course, on the sideline, we're also talking to other investors. But not only that, there's one area which we have not really mentioned. Apart from the issue of agriculture, the issue of renewable energy, one area that we also believe will also add a lot to the development of our own country in the area of productivity is the discussion around skill development, which of course only yesterday on the sideline, I led my delegation to meet with Brazil leading skill hub, an agency called Senai. And of course, I can tell you that in Nigeria, we are leading in skill development as a state. And that's the reason why, for me, I feel it's very important that we had that meeting yesterday. And tomorrow, with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu looking at those areas and also signing a bilateral agreement with Brazil, we will also advance that opportunity because, like I said, when we're talking about improving the level of productivity, you cannot ignore the important contribution of skills development. And that's the reason why we thank President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for the introduction of TVET, the kind of investment, and in Kaduna, we quickly leverage on that. That is the reason why only last month we launched an institution that was adjourned to be the most equipped institution in the area of skill acquisition and development in the whole of Nigeria. And we had 3 in Kaduna commissioned by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu that are more equipped than any university or polytechnic in Nigeria. So this is the areas where we're looking at.
Indeed.
Thank you very much.
Yes, Special Advisor, sir. You know, we have seen several bilateral deals between Nigeria and other countries. We've seen President Bola Tinubu's drive to attract foreign direct investment. Some people call it aggressive, you know. But so far, in all of President Bola Tinubu's trips, in all of his meetings with investors, are there things that Nigerians can point to and say, yes, these are the results from all of the previous foreign trips? Now, before we even begin to look forward to to what will come out from this Brazil trip.
Absolutely. Let's deal with agriculture, for instance. I know about 7 to 8 weeks ago, we had 10,000 tractors right there in Abuja and over 25,000 farming implements that were launched for the sake of our farmers. That's one. But beyond that, sometimes some of this foreign direct investment is not in Naira and Kobo, it's also in equipment. At the point of 2-year anniversary, we had the Minister of Industry, Dr. Duwale Kip. She said, at least we have received in excess close to 5 billion coming in as foreign direct investment. Again, there's also a gestation period for this. From the point of signing an MOU, quite a number of other things must be in place. Visits by both parties, working out the details of the agreement, setting up the timelines and deliverables over time. So this is a government that has been in power for 2 years. And in 2 years, we have seen the aggressive effort, like you said, on the part of Mr. President, who understands the dynamics of the global economy. We have seen several MOUs activated. These MOUs are live, and I can assure you that most of them, the activities tied to them will soon be onboarded for the benefit of our country. But if we stay with Brazil, Brazil presents our country, I think, one of the brightest and greatest opportunity in the 21st century as we speak right now, especially when you look at the vast agricultural lands and potential of our country. Which country has that kind of potential? Brazil. When you look at oil and gas, Petrobras and NNPC, which country has that potential that we have similarities, both in opportunities and potentials for development? Brazil. When you look at even youth development, like His Excellency the Governor said, about skills, upskill that is needed for our young people as a template. So we're looking at the South Cooperation. Nigeria is right now in a comfortable place to leverage on its potentials. Working with a country like Brazil, similar potentials, we can back up with the experience they have had. And this union, I believe, will yield results for our country.
All right, then. Thank you very much. I must thank you very much, gentlemen. His Excellency Governor Ubasani of Kaduna State and Sunday Dare, Special Advisor to President Bola Tinubu on Media and Public Communications. Thank you very much for your time. And Nigerians are watching and hoping that indeed President Bola Tinubu brings the goods from Brazil. That's it on the program today. Thank you for being a part of it. You can see this episode again on TVC News YouTube channel. Thank you for watching. I am Femi Akonde. See you next time.